The prostate facts. The prostate, not prostrate, is a small, squishy gland about the size of a ping-pong ball, located deep inside the groin, between the base of the penis and the rectum. It is important for reproduction, because it supplies the seminal fluid, which mixes with sperm from the testes. Seminal fluid helps the sperm to travel and survive. The more you know about the prostate, its normal development and function, where it's located, and what it's attached to, the better you can understand how prostate cancer develops and impacts a man's life over time due either to cancer growth, or as a result of treatment. The prostate sits deep inside the groin. The seminal vesicles are rabbit-eared structures that sit on top of the prostate and store and secrete a large portion of the ejaculate. The neurovascular bundle is a collection of nerves and vessels that run along each side of the prostate, and helps to control erectile function. In some men, these nerves run a short distance away from the prostate, but in others, they attach to the prostate itself. Their precise location doesn't impact prostate function or contribute to prostate cancer when it occurs. The bladder is like a balloon that gets larger as it fills with urine. The urethra, a narrow tube that connects to the bladder, runs through the middle of the prostate and along the length of the penis, carrying both urine and semen out of the body. It is the hose that drains the bladder. The rectum, which sits right behind the prostate, is the lower end of your intestines and connects to the anus. Prostate zones. The prostate is divided into several anatomic regions, or zones. Most prostate cancer starts in the peripheral zone, the back of the prostate, near the rectum. That's why a digital rectal exam, DRE, in which a doctor examines the prostate by inserting a gloved finger in the rectum, is a common and useful screening test. Difficulty with urination is usually not a symptom of prostate cancer. In most cases, lower urinary tract symptoms are due to benign prostatic hypertrophy, BPH, which is a non-cancerous prostate condition that typically develops from the transition zone that surrounds the urethra, or urinary tube, closer to the middle of the prostate. 1. The prostate gland is a muscle. Only men have a prostate, a muscular gland that produces some of the ingredients of semen. The role of the prostate is to make seminal fluid, which is mixed with sperm to make semen. The muscle in the walls of the gland allows it to squirt the seminal fluid out with force. 2. The prostate gland is the size of a walnut. The prostate is a walnut-sized gland situated just below the bladder between the root of the penis and the anus. In older men with prostate problems, it may swell from the size of a walnut to that of a plum. If the prostate grows too big, urine flow may be weaker, but prostate size is not related to prostate cancer. 3. You can spot prostate cancer symptoms. Worrying prostate symptoms to look out for include needing to urinate more during the night, dribbling before or after urinating, and a weak urine flow. Less common symptoms include pain in the testicles, problems getting an erection, pain when ejaculating, pain when passing urine and blood in the urine. Worrying prostate symptoms to look out for include needing to urinate more during the night. Prostate cancer doesn't always affect the urinary stream until the disease is advanced, so urine flow isn't a reliable indicator on its own. There are a variety of reasons for a change in the pressure of urine flow, such as a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate, called benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, or prostatitis, inflammation or infection of the prostate. If your once normal urine stream has dwindled to a trickle, visit your GP. 4. Age is a factor with prostate cancer. Prostate cancer usually affects men over 50, and approximately half of this age group also show signs of prostate enlargement. According to Cancer Research UK, the largest number of cases is in those aged 75 to 79. 1 in 25 men, 3.8%, will die from the disease, and in the UK, around 8 in 10 newly diagnosed prostate cancer patients now survive beyond 10 years. Prostatitis can affect men of any age. 5. The PSA test can help diagnose prostate cancer. To rule out prostate cancer, your GP usually suggests that you have a PSA test. This is a blood test that measures the level of a protein called prostate-specific antigen, PSA. PSA is produced in the prostate gland and found in small amounts in the blood. A raised PSA level can be a warning sign of the presence of prostate cancer and other problems. A raised PSA level can be a warning sign of the presence of prostate cancer. It can also indicate other problems that aren't cancer. 3 out of 4 men with a raised PSA level will not have prostate cancer. PSA levels can also be normal when a cancer is present. This is why PSA is not used as a general screening test. However, the higher the PSA level, the greater the likelihood of a cancer being present. 6. Prostate cancer is genetic. Look at your family tree. Has your father, grandfather, uncle, or brother had prostate cancer? If this is the case, then you may have a higher risk of developing the disease. Tell your doctor if any family members have had the disease. They can discuss what symptoms you need to look out for and whether you need to have any blood tests to monitor your PSA. 7. Diet may affect the prostate gland. To maintain a healthy prostate gland, try to eat a balanced diet with plenty of fresh fruit and vegetables. There is no convincing evidence that any particular foods will definitely reduce your risk of prostate cancer, but some studies have shown benefit from eating selenium. There is some evidence that selenium, a trace mineral, helps lower the risk of prostate cancer by combating cell damage. Selenium is found in broccoli, Brazil nuts, seafood, asparagus, brown rice, and onions. Selenium can also be taken in supplement form and works best when combined with vitamin E and zinc. Following a Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean men have a lower prostate cancer rate, and this is believed to be down to a diet rich in fruit and vegetables, garlic, olive oil, fish, and tomatoes. Tomatoes contain a bright red pigment called lycopene, a powerful carotenoid antioxidant, which helps to repair damaged cells. According to an American study of 47,000 men over 6 years, those who had at least 10 servings a week of tomato-based foods were up to 45% or less likely to develop prostate cancer. 8. Obesity affects prostate cancer. There is also a clear link between obesity and cancer. Putting on those extra cuddly pounds around your waist can double your cancer risk. Scientists in Boston found that maintaining a healthy weight and diet helps cancer sufferers live longer. Results of the trial, involving over 900 men, showed that overweight men with prostate cancer doubled their risk of death in the 5 years after the study, compared to men who maintained a healthy weight. Try to achieve and maintain a healthy weight through eating a balanced diet and exercising regularly. It is best to lose weight slowly, just 1 or 2 pounds a week. Make small changes to your diet every day, such as swapping sweet treats for crunchy vegetables. Small changes soon add up. Ask your practice nurse or GP for help with losing weight if you are finding it difficult. There is a clear link between obesity and cancer, and extra pounds around your waist can double your cancer risk. Alcohol intake is linked to certain types of cancer, but it's not known yet if there's any link with prostate cancer. 9. Hydration could be linked to prostate health. Japanese and Chinese men have very low levels of prostate cancer, and green tea is thought to be one reason why. Green tea is rich in polyphenols, which have antioxidant properties which could potentially reduce cancer risk. Alcohol and fizzy drinks are rich in sugar, which can pile on the pounds. We know obesity is linked to cancer, so switch to water instead to reduce calories, help flush out the kidneys and keep the body hydrated. 10. Exercise can impact prostate health. Keeping active helps to balance hormone levels, prevent obesity, and boost the immune system. Regular exercise helps to reduce your risk of many types of cancer, and some studies show that it might have an effect in reducing prostate cancer risk too. And it's never too late. Studies have shown that exercise is still beneficial for men who have been diagnosed with prostate cancer and are receiving treatment for it. Aim for 150 minutes per week of exercise that makes you feel a bit out of breath. Don't worry if you can't manage this though, even small amounts can make a difference to your health. Brisk walking is enough, just gradually build up the time you spend doing it. You should also try to avoid sitting for long periods of time too. The prostate gland. The prostate is a walnut-sized gland that is part of a man's sex organs. The prostate is wrapped around the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body when you urinate. In men, the urethra also carries semen, the fluid that contains sperm, out of the body during ejaculation. The prostate adds special fluids to the semen when a man ejaculates, and muscles in the prostate gland contract to force the semen out of the body. Approximately 3 million American men have some type of prostate disease. The most common prostate diseases are benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. BPH is the most common prostate disease in men over the age of 50. More than 60% of men over age 60, and more than 80% of men over the age of 80 have BPH. This makes it one of the most common health problems for older men. BPH is caused by enlargement of the prostate gland to the point that it begins to compress the urethra, which slows or blocks the flow of urine. Although the enlargement of the prostate in BPH is not cancerous, it can still cause symptoms that require medical or surgical treatment. Prostatitis. Prostatitis is a painful inflammation of the prostate gland. It is the most common disease of the prostate in men under the age of 50, but it may also occur in older men. About 8% of men will have prostatitis at some point in their lives. Prostatitis can be acute, which means that it occurs suddenly and resolves quickly with treatment. It can also be chronic, which means that it occurs more gradually, is recurring, and sometimes persists for months. Prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is a frequent cancer diagnosis in older men. Every year, about 200,000 men in the US are diagnosed with prostate cancer, and about 30,000 men die of the disease. Approximately 1 in every 6 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer at some time during his life. Prostate cancer is more common in older men. It is rare in men under the age of 40, but almost half of men over the age of 70 are thought to have it. Prostate cancer can be a fatal disease, but many prostate cancers grow very slowly and do not spread beyond the prostate. In many older men, the cancer never causes symptoms or affects health. Many men who have prostate cancer eventually die of conditions unrelated to the cancer itself. However, some prostate cancers are aggressive and spread quickly to other areas of the body. If there is one organ that elicits mixed reviews from men everywhere, it is the prostate. The prostate is the gland that produces semen, the fluid medium that protects and nourishes sperm cells. On the one hand, no pun intended, the prostate can be an integral part of any intensely pleasurable orgasm. On the other hand, other than skin cancer, no other cancer is as prevalent in men than prostate cancer, which afflicts 1 in 7 men in their lifetimes. If you are African American, your chances are even greater that you will get it, and 2.5 times more likely you will die from it. Overall, more than 180,000 men will develop this cancer in 2016, and of those, over 25,000 will die from it. The bad news for men about prostate cancer is that the older you get, the more likely it is that you will develop it. The good news is that your chances of survival are actually pretty decent. Even for those men who don't get prostate cancer, many will find themselves dealing with BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia, also known as an enlarged prostate. Although the causes of an enlarged prostate are not totally understood, one of the suspects is testosterone. As the hormone breaks down in the body, a byproduct, dihydrotestosterone, is produced that may contribute to the growth of the prostate. By the time they reach 55 years old, half of the male population will have BPH. By 65, that number is 75%, and by age 80, 90%. If you are a man, you will almost certainly develop some symptoms of BPH as you age. Those symptoms will include difficulty urinating, some dribbling afterward, inability to completely empty the bladder, frequent nighttime urination, as well as the possibility of some blood in the urine or recurrent UTIs, urinary tract infections. The reason an enlarged prostate is trouble is almost entirely due to its location. The organ is located under the bladder and is wrapped around the urethra. As it gets larger, it compresses the urethra, contracting the muscles, and partially blocks the exit, so to speak. Sufferers find their lives revolving around bathroom visits, interrupted sleep and the fear of something worse, prostate cancer. The result is a cottage industry that has evolved, in both the mainstream medical arena as well as the alternative medical community, aiming to alleviate the symptoms and the fears of prostate illness, not to mention cashing in. In both medical fields, legitimate and illegitimate treatments have flourished. Here are 7 facts about the treatment of prostate illness. 1. BPH can lead to serious complications. An enlarged prostate is not always just an annoying inconvenience. While it is true that many men suffer relatively mild symptoms that warrant only careful monitoring, others have significant issues with urinating. Significant blockage of the urethra can lead to increased urinary tract infections, stones in the bladder, blood in the urine, and worse, actual kidney damage. To reduce the effects of BPH, some tips include double voiding, urinate, relax your muscles, urinate again, take your time while urinating, try sitting instead of standing, spread out your daily fluid consumption, and reduce it at night, avoid caffeinated beverages, and be mindful of medicines that irritate the prostate like cold and allergy medicines. If BPH symptoms are severe enough, a urologist may recommend medications that can relax the prostatic muscles or shrink the gland itself. Alternatively, they may want to perform transurethral microwave therapy or a transurethral needle ablation, both minimally invasive procedures that remove portions of the prostate in order to relax the gland's grip on the urethra. 2. Saw palmetto probably doesn't work. One of the most popular alternative treatments for BPH is the saw palmetto, used since the beginning of the 20th century as a remedy for urinary and prostatic problems. Derived from a palm-like plant, its berries were a food and medicine source for Native Americans. The health supplement industry has long pushed saw palmetto as a safe and effective natural treatment for prostate problems. While results of some studies have been mixed, the most extensive ones have indicated that saw palmetto, even at high doses, is no more effective than a placebo. There have been studies done on other natural treatments for BPH, including stinging nettle and pygeum bark. These have shown some improvement in BPH symptoms, but the studies have been too small-scale to draw conclusive results. If you decide to try any herbal supplement, make sure it is from a reputable brand. While there are few side effects from these remedies, many brands have been found to have less of the ingredient than claimed on the packaging. 3. Prostate cancer is overdiagnosed and overtreated. In the 1980s, a test was developed to detect prostate cancer. Widely available, the prostate-specific antigen test, or PSA, detects the level of a protein in the blood that is produced by the prostate. If the level of protein detected is above what is considered normal, a biopsy is performed to determine whether cancer is present. The test was hailed as a method to detect prostate cancer early, potentially saving countless lives. There are a few problems, however, chief among them that the rate of cancer deaths did not go down in the US. Additionally, the PSA is not entirely reliable, giving false positives. Only about 25% of men with an elevated PSA actually have cancer, that resulted in needless invasive biopsies, or false negatives that give a misguided sense of assurance. The biopsies themselves often cause discomfort and occasionally can lead to serious infections. And even though patients who do have prostate cancer statistically probably will not develop the aggressive form of the disease, there is no way to know that from the PSA test. The result has been an avalanche of overdiagnosis resulting in worried patients and better safe than sorry doctors removing the gland unnecessarily, with the accompanying side effects. In 2012, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, an independent panel of experts that evaluate preventative services and make recommendations based on the latest scientific knowledge, strongly recommended against the PSA test. Many men are harmed as a result of prostate cancer screening and few, if any, benefit. 4. Surgery for prostate cancer may not be necessary. The standard medical treatments for prostate cancer are a procedure called radical prostatectomy, the surgical removal of the prostate gland, and external or internal targeted radiation of the prostate. While both the removal of the prostate and the irradiation of the gland can generally be effective in treating the cancer, there can be disturbing consequences. Both can leave the patient impotent, which occurs in up to half of patients, or incontinent, 10% of patients. While improvements in the procedures have reduced the incidence of side effects, they have not been eliminated. But here's the interesting thing. In the majority of prostate cancer cases, the cancer is slow-growing. If left untreated, most slow-growing patients are likely to die from something other than prostate cancer. In fact, a respected study indicated that, in these slow-growth cases, doing nothing statistically yielded roughly the same life expectancy as removing the prostate. The obvious implication is that regular monitoring of the cancer, or watchful waiting, is as effective as invasive surgery or radiation. Watchful waiting is not an option for the 10 to 15% of patients who have an aggressive cancer. In those cases, active treatments are necessary. The number of patients opting for watchful waiting has skyrocketed in recent years, from 7% of patients in the 1990s and early 2000s, to 40% since 2010, and among men 75 years and older, that number is over 75%. One of the arguments against screening is that we are overdetecting and overtreating prostate cancer, and because we are overtreating men who don't need treatment, we are doing more harm than good. By reducing the rates of overtreatment, we are likely increasing the benefit of screening. David Penson, of the Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee told the Prostate Cancer Foundation. 5. Some doctors don't think it should even be called cancer. Because the word cancer can cause such panic in patients, a study in Sweden found that the suicide rate among patients given the cancer diagnosis was 6 times higher than the rest of the population. Some doctors believe slow-growing prostate cancer should not be labeled as such. For them, the preferred label is prostatic epithelial neoplasia, or PEN. Prostate cancer, they believe, should be confined only to prostate lesions or tumors that are likely to lead to the aggressive form of the disease. 6. There are ways that may help minimize the chance of getting prostate cancer. Studies at Harvard School of Public Health have identified lifestyle changes that can minimize the risk of developing the aggressive form of prostate cancer. Unsurprisingly, they are many of the same things that keep diabetes, heart disease, strokes, and many other diseases at bay. Quit smoking. Exercise. Eat a healthy diet. And in that diet, make sure you include 2 things, tomato sauce and coffee. Men who consumed at least 2 servings of tomato sauce a week were 20% less likely to develop prostate cancer and 35% less likely to die from it. Even if they got the disease, they were more likely to have the slow-growing form. For coffee drinkers, men who drank 6 or more cups a day were 20% less likely to develop the disease, and if they did, 60% less likely to die from it. Even men who drank just 1 to 3 cups a day gained benefit. Though the lower amount of coffee gained them no benefit in the risk of getting the disease versus non-coffee drinkers, the coffee drinkers were 30% less likely to die from it. 7. Have sex and masturbate. Studies have been mixed, but there have been some indications that frequent ejaculations help minimize the risk of getting prostate cancer. But whatever. It can't hurt, and it's fun. Get to it.